Hey guys, welcome back. It's your favorite Gimp with the Limp, and here with another quick Kickstarter that's worth checking out. This one is War Room, a Larry Harris game, and this is the second edition. So there's a good chance if you're into war games, you probably saw this when it popped up a year or two ago when they did their first Kickstarter. As always, we'll start with the video, watch it real quick, and then let you guys know a little bit more about the Kickstarter. So let's expand this out, hit play.
Nightingale Games presents the second edition of War Room, a Larry Harris game. A grand simulation of World War II on a global scale for 2 to 6 players. World War II was the most catastrophic clash of power in the history of mankind. This game begins in early 1942 with the Axis near its peak of strength. Germany, Italy, and Imperial Japan struggle against the Allied forces of the Soviet Union, the British Commonwealth, the United States, and the Republic of China. You assume the role of Commander-in-Chief of one or more of these 7 nations, and it becomes your job to make the challenging strategic decisions that will alter the course of history. In any of 4 possible scenarios, ranging in scope from the Eastern Front, to the war in the Pacific, or the war in Europe, to an all-out global conflict. It is you, along with your allies, who must make the painful choice of whether to defend the vulnerable supplies of oil, iron, and other strategic resources, or press the attack on the enemy's capital, risking the lives of the men and equipment under your command. You can't ignore the stress of war, as the mounting casualties could plunge your nation's morale toward economic collapse or worse. You must anticipate the enemy's movement, as all orders are written secretly and simultaneously. Each nation can only assign orders to a limited number of commands per round, so after conferring with your allies and crafting the most effective and brilliant maneuvers, the orders are then executed as written. Will your enemy predict your strategy and deliver a crushing blow, or perhaps it is you who stuns the world and captures the key territories? Besides the chess-like maneuvering during strategic planning and resource management during the production phase, there are also tactical choices to be made during the dice-based combat resolution, as units must be assigned stances such as offensive or defensive, anti-air or surface attacks. Each crucial decision is poised to swing the balance of power. With minimal downtime, War Room is engaging and suspenseful. The basics of the game rules are surprisingly easy to learn, but yet offer significant depth in strategy. Depending on the variable scope of a scenario, a game can range from 1 hour to 10+ hours. However, in the second edition, we introduce a quick battle system which cuts overall game time by roughly a third. We have streamlined a few components which allow us to offer War Room for a Kickstarter pledge of $137 plus shipping. The retail MSRP will climb to $200 shortly after this campaign ends. For complete details on what's different in the second edition and how to upgrade forwards or backwards, check out the components section below.
Hello, I'm Larry Harris, down in my...
And not to cut off Larry Harris, he has all the reasons to be happy and excited about his game, but he does go on here for a couple minutes talking about it. So I'm going to cut this part. I hope you guys don't mind. No offense, Larry. We love you, man. You did a great job with the game and all that good stuff. But I want to make this video quick and show you guys. Obviously, it's already met its goal. Still got 21 days left, which I kind of appreciate because I like it when they do a longer Kickstarter. It just gives me time to save up funds, gives you guys time to save up funds. So let's take a look at the pledge levels. Scroll back here to the top, and it's real simple. As far as the pledge levels, the usual basic one, just toss them some money. You can do one for $5 where you get the digital version, which is on Tabletop Simulator or Tabletopia, whichever one of those you want to use. So if you want to just pay $5 just to play it on the computer, go for it. Cool, you're there. Otherwise, there's really only one pledge unless you're a retailer. This here's the pledge level that I went with because I missed this game on the first one. I'll admit it, I did miss it. And part of the reason I missed it is I had to, choose what I was putting money towards in this fairly expensive game. But on top of that, it's not, I think, wholly easy to solitaire. But they are working on a solitaire component, I have found out. So that did catch my attention. I'm like, all right, I'm not letting this pass me by, because I was thinking about snaking a copy of the first edition, and then I saw they were going to be doing the Kickstarter. I'm like, yeah, we'll go ahead and jump on that. So it's not a bad price, especially considering it's about $200 retail. Pretty much anywhere you're going to be able to find it, and generally it's probably going to be more than that, especially if you're getting a third party. So to get the second edition of the game for $137 plus shipping, which is going to be at least $30-40, that's not bad. All right, so I'm good with that. Retailers $500 if you're going to get more than one copy. I don't think too many retailers are interested to see. Yeah, they got 21 retailers, so not bad for them. Unfortunately, none of my local retailers get Kickstarters, with the exception of one, and they only get like the real high-end. Like they'll get a handful of Frosthaven and games like that, Cloudspire, Nemesis, but they don't get a whole lot of war games. The Kickstarter, what it goes through is relatively basic. A lot of it is showing you first edition stuff, first edition unboxings, ratings. So there's not a whole lot to go through. We'll scroll through it real quick, but I did want to show you guys the bulletin, which shows you the difference between the first edition and the second edition, because there's some good and there's some bad. My boy here, the Discriminating Gamer, obviously he reviewed it. He liked it. Most everybody liked it. It's got good ratings. It's a good game. That's not even in the question, right? Players Aid guys nailed it. Plenty of the war gamers have reviewed this thing. Like I said, the big reason I skipped it the first time is the lack of solitaire capabilities, but it does seem like that is being rectified. So yes, must jump on it. Past the testimonials, see here you can do Global War, which is the whole map, and the whole map just looks good. I mean, it just looks good. Pieces look good. War in Europe, War in the Pacific, and that's just where you're going to be fighting. So you'll use certain parts of the map. You don't get extra map pieces. You're just using this little bit of the map if you play that scenario, just so you guys know. And it shows you there are 7 phases to the game. Scrolling through this pretty quick, because like I said, there's not a whole lot here. They do have how to play videos, which is nice. Always cool when they do include that. Rules video showing the basics. And if you haven't read the rule book, the game itself is not overly complex, which is kind of a requirement when you can have up to like 7 or 8 players. You can't be overly in-depth, otherwise the game really does just start to drag on. The components are the big thing. Game box, big box. This looks like it's going to be rivaling Kingdom Death Monster in size when it comes to box, so keep that in mind. World map, rules, the dice and battle board, and evidently the battle board is a single battle board instead of the 2 that they did with the first one, but we'll get onto that in a sec. There's front and back side, air and land, air sea. The dice, which I do like how it is custom dice. Always a neat thing. I know you guys probably agree with me on this, that there's just too much D6 out there. I mean, D6 and everything. And I understand dice do cost money, but it is nice to see something different used, especially just a flat out custom dice. The problem you do run into when it comes to custom dice, like these here, is the fact that if you lose some, you lose 1 or 2 of your dice, you lose them. It's harder to get replacements. You can't just grab dice from another game. You guys can see here the morale board, which is one of the changes. We'll be getting into that here in a sec. Europe Pacific scenarios shows all the tokens that come with it. Stacking units, which is really cool. I like how these units stack. Little plastic pieces that stack on top of each other, so your stacks aren't likely to just fall over as easily as they did, like if they're counters, things like that. And it shows all the different ones that you have: aircraft carriers, submarines, infantry, artillery, armor, fighters, bombers. Yeah, just cool stuff. Gotta love it. All right, awesome. The nations, which they already listed out, shows you what you're getting for each one of the different nations. So we'll just scroll past that, let you guys take a peek. Obviously, you're keeping track of stuff like your units, your supplies, areas you control, how much income you got coming in, all that good stuff. And then some neutrals. And here we are showing some of the first edition unboxings, just more videos of people who did check it out. Now here, when we get it into the restock of the supplements, this one is kind of like where I was like, all right, what's going on here? Because there's not really like a stretch goal or add-ons for this. For this Kickstarter, it's a little different. You're just doing the Kickstarter. That's it. There's no extras, anything else. If you want anything else, you have to go to their website to order it. You can now order extra units. The wooden hotspots, which I thought, the command staves, stav or staves, if it's like this. I think it's staves. I don't know. Those were the key things I kind of wanted, because I think if I remember right, they were a stretch goal, but no, actually, I think now I'm thinking on it, they were an add-on. Not quite sure. I think they were an add-on actually for the first edition, but that was one of the things I was kind of hoping would be a stretch goal for this one, because I like the look of them, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to pay like $20 extra for those things. So this is stuff that you can order from their website. Now, key thing I wanted to show is this is the little blurb about the difference between the two Kickstarters. All right, so the first edition Kickstarter was $149. Oh, it was 2017. It's longer ago than I thought it was. And it retailed for $240. Now this one is $237, so just a few dollars cheaper, and it's retailing for $200. So they've changed a few things. Some of the things are updated like errata, and that's what this talks about here. Will not become obsolete. The first edition won't. Anything new component-wise will be made available as a supplement at our web store if there is sufficient demand. Likewise, anything that is lacking from the second edition will also be made available as a supplement at our web store if there's sufficient demand. I'm kind of like, I don't want you guys, I don't want things left out on the second edition, because like I said, I backed this one that were included on the first that now we're going to have to buy as an extra. As far as I understand, I don't think there's too much of that going on. The morale board is a big change because the stress track has been changed. It's this board now instead of stress tokens. So the second edition is not getting any tokens for stress. And if you upgrade to this for your first edition, all those extra stress tokens won't be needed. You're just using the board. So it's a change. Now, here's something that I didn't like. And I don't like to hate on them too much, but I hate when they cut out shit. Stuff, shit, whatever. All right, so the morale board, battle board, and reference will use thinner stock to reduce weight and cost. That's not a good thing. And we might only include one battle board. When they say they're only going to include one battle board. Plus, those pads that you saw people writing on will have thinner backing and have 30 pages instead of 50. Replacement pads of the original first edition will be available at our web store. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't. I would rather have the 50 pages, to be honest with you. It's a me thing. I don't know. Maybe it's the Marine in me. I don't like running out of anything. I always like to have a bunch of ammo on hand. I like to have my phone charged. I don't like to run out of crap. Now, to be fair, I am absolutely 100% positive you can take and scan these pages and print them out to your heart's delight. I'm sure the image is online that you can pull it up and print off as many copies as you want. So it's not exactly like you're not going to have access. But the cut of the 20 pages, I understand they're trying to save on cost, and that was the decision they made. But it's like, I don't like it. The cost is cheaper. We'll see. And the storage box, unit storage box, has been changed. I'm not sure if this is a good thing or a bad thing yet, because I did not get to go hands-on with the first edition storage box, so we'll have to see with the second edition. But it is a new single storage box, which replaces the 4 long rectangle unit boxes. So you can see here in the picture, the ones on the side, are the old ones, and this is what's going to be the new one. I kind of like the look of the new one over the old one, to be honest with you. So I think this is a good thing here. Plus, they were talking about how you can flip over this lid, and it becomes a little makeshift dice tray for you. Okay, cool. I'm happy with that. This is something I did not know they had an issue with, is the China flag, which has been in a touchy issue because of the production factory in China could risk closure if it uses the historically accurate flag which is forbidden because it is now the flag of Taiwan. Huh. Okay. Well, that's great freedom for these people, that if they do something the government doesn't like, the government will come in and close their store. Isn't that great? Don't they live in such a free, wonderful country? I mean, Taiwan's a country. I know China doesn't want to acknowledge that, but I'll say it because they can kiss my ass. But anyway, that's actually an issue. So in the first edition, they invented a fake flag, and they hope to work their way to something resembling a more accurate flag in the second edition, but political tensions are very high, of course. So the flag shown on the new morale board may not get used in the second edition. If that is the case, we will have another sticker patch made in the USA. This affects imagery on numerous components, but doesn't affect gameplay balance. Yes, it doesn't affect gameplay, but it's just the historical flag. It's your people's history. Why are you trying to censor it? Oh, that's right, because you're a bunch of D-bags. Anyway, besides any China flag changes, there's a teensy-weensy errata fixing the back of one card. Cool. All right, so a couple of things there. Die-cut tokens. The wooden hotspots will be downgraded to high-quality chipboard tokens. This is to reduce cost. It's not a huge deal. Would I prefer the wooden tokens? Yeah. Am I going to really notice it? Is it going to be that big of a difference to me? No, but not necessarily going to like it, but you can deal with it. And they're changing the color of the Italian stuff because the green was thrown off, I guess, in the first edition. So, cool. Cut from the second edition is 7 capital stars used as capital reminders in certain scenarios. Okay, all right, I guess. The stress tokens, which we talked about earlier, and the unit storage boxes. So, honestly, it's not that big of a deal, the stuff that it's getting switched. The big thing I didn't like was the cutting of some of the pages that we talked about up here. I don't like it, but to get the game, I'm good with it because it's not like it isn't something that's easy fixed, and the wooden stuff being downgraded, don't necessarily like it, but it's not the end of the world. So, minor changes, and it does look like the stuff, if you do want it, you can get it from the website if you want to pay extra to get whatever little pieces, the paper booklet pads, if you want that instead of having to print out more. And then units, that makes me worry a little bit. If the units need to have more on hand, like the ability to buy more units is enough that you have those on your website, I'm wondering if they didn't include enough in the base game, because that would be worrisome. You should always have enough units in your game. Just common sense, I think, on that. The only reason is if you're doing something that I don't know. I'm trying to think of a reason why you would need extra units, maybe that wouldn't go along with the game. I don't know. You guys put it in the comments if you can think of something. I mean, it's nice that they give people the ability. Maybe some homegrown scenarios have something to do with that. I don't want to hate on it. This is a neutral right now. This isn't me saying good or bad. This is me saying the units can be bought, individually from their website. I'm just not sure if that's a good or a bad thing at the moment until I kind of get hands-on with the game. Anyway, that's where we're at with the Kickstarter. $137 for it, plus just go ahead and add $35 at minimum to that for shipping. But the game is good. If you're into big World War II strategic games, yeah, absolutely, game's good. I promise you that. You'll enjoy it. But if you're looking for it solitaire, this second edition could be the way to go, because they are looking into a way to play the game solitaire to kind of free it up for people like myself who mainly solitaire all their war games. So if you missed it the first time like me over the solitaire, yeah, definitely now's the time to check it out. All right, that's going to be it for this one. You guys have any questions, feel free to put them down below. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next one.